as smart as physicians are, we are really, really bad at business. Medicine, for what it's worth, it's very expensive right now in this country, and the care is not that great. And that's because there's no connection between the physician delivering the care and the people doing the money side. There's zero connection there. And we need to close that gap. As smart as physicians are, we are really, really bad at business. And I think it's been, you've seen what's happened in medicine over the last 20 years, right? The businessmen came into medicine and the physicians just kind of got trampled. Right? And we keep getting trampled. We're not taught to be businessmen. It's actually the opposite. We're kind of taught not to. It's kind of frowned upon to talk about business in medical school. We don't talk about billing and coding. But if you get out into the real world of medicine, all of a sudden you're talking about billing and coding and insurance companies every day.
Yes.
There's no class on how to hire an NP or how to utilize an NP. Right? We're taught about 80,000 different antibiotics, right? We're taught about the different nerves and tendons and muscle structures, which we all need to know. But I do think it needs to start, and this is one thing Doc Nation is trying to do, is really petition to start teaching physicians about business in med school, just for the reason that they can understand that, hey, I might not be that great at this, right? Just to have a flavor of it. Because it's actually the opposite, where it's not only not taught, but it's frowned upon to ask the questions, well, how is this billed? They'll say, why do you worry about the billing? It doesn't matter. But it does matter. It's still medicine, for what it's worth, it's very expensive right now in this country, and the care is not that great. And that's because there's no connection between the physician delivering the care and the people doing the money side. There's zero connection there. And we need to close that gap.
Well, and I think they're very intentional. And when I say they, I mean in the insurance companies, in trying to make that kind of black and white to where, or not black and white, and have that gray area to where they control the physician so that they can make more money as a stakeholder. I had somebody on the podcast last week who said this statistic that I thought that is crazy, but from a consumer of patient care, you see it. And then in today, so 20-year difference or gap, you have to see 40% more patients to achieve the same billings as you did in 2004. And so when you apply that to like how many patients you have to see per day and talk about utilization of PAs or NPs, if you're a surgeon or you're a physician, you need to be focused on the high acuity things and let the NP or the PA handle lower acuity things within the clinic. And if you're not utilizing that, then you're up against patient care quality and what the satisfaction rates are and the outcome rates are, because you're just playing the numbers game. And it's like they almost want you to not be aware and educated on the business model, because then their bluff is called on the fact that like the physician fee schedule hasn't been changed or modified against inflation and everything else has changed.
So it's actually, that 40% number is almost dead on. It's actually been cut by an average of 2% every year since 2002. So not only hasn't it has not kept up with inflation, but CMS has cut the physician fee schedule. So inflation, just let's take the last 5 years, has gone up whatever numbers you use, around 15 to 20%, at least on our end, because what I'm ordering, I know what the difference was what I ordered 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And the physician fee schedule has been cut by 2 to 3% every year. So every year you add that up 2 to 3%, and physicians just take it. They complain about it. You see it on LinkedIn, you see it on Instagram, and nothing happens. We have another pay cut. They just announced it in August. We have another 3% pay cut coming up January 1st. Nothing's happening. It's just going to happen. And it's getting to the point where, I hate to say, insurance companies are running the show right now, and they're making a ton of money. If you look at how, I'm all for the free market, but I don't know if I'm for the free market on the backs of sick people, right? Denying coverage to sick people, to me, is one of the worst things you can do. And that's how and insurance companies are making a lot of money doing that. And the physicians are just there trying to help. I listen, I understand, I guess in the 90s, physicians got out of control, but the physicians I know now, 99% of them are just trying to help. And they just want to be paid for what they're trying to do. And like you said, if you have to see 40% more patients, that's why we see this decline in healthcare, because I can't do as good as a job. Let's say I used to see a patient for 30 minutes. Now I have to see him for 15 minutes to see twice the number of patients. I can't do as good as a job. And that's just the truth of the matter. It's not because I don't want to see him for 30 minutes. I can't do that and keep the lights on. So it's unfortunate. I think it's going to change. It can't keep going like this because healthcare will break. We can't keep spending this much money and having such lousy healthcare in the country. So something will change, hopefully. And hopefully Doc Nation, we're hoping will be a part of that, and all physicians will. And I don't want it to be some big fight between insurance companies and physicians and hospitals. I think we can all just come together and figure it out for the betterment of the patient. That's what really matters.